Hey everybody, this is Brett, and today I want to talk about emotional healing and my experience with that. And, I'm not a counselor, psychiatrist, none of that. And I think that for that reason, you'll get more out of this video than if you go and watch one of those people. Because I'm just going to tell you what I've found to work and what I've found is real with my issues. And all of us have done things or had things happen to us that we regret. And if we go back and we think about those happenings, then we might get really emotional. We might feel a lot of pain. And we need to come to some kind of a conclusion in these regards. And it may take a whole lot of work. We may have to ask ourselves a lot of tough questions. Questions that may have the answers come up that we were at fault. And if we were at fault, then we've got a lot of bad feelings about that thing that happened. And I could tell you some of those things in my regards, but I prefer not to because it's personal. But I will tell you that I needed to say to myself, and I still do when I think about these things that happened, that at the time I did the best that I could given the circumstances. Maybe I was lazy, stupid, however you want to call it. There were times that I had things happen in my life that were my fault that still give me bad feelings to this day. But when I ask myself the questions that I mentioned, and I reason it out, then I'll say to myself, well, you're only human. You're not perfect. And you never will be. You can keep improving yourself all the time, getting better and better. But you'll never be perfect. And you'll always make mistakes. And all you can do is your best in the moment. And, my channel is all about self-improvement. And there are things that we don't necessarily like about ourselves, that we would like to make better. But we also have to realize that we are as we are now, which is perfectly imperfect. That's how we are. And if we can somehow come to a state of acceptance of that as it is, then we can move forward. But emotional healing requires release. And you'll feel that within your throat, or your chest, or your gut. If you feel like you need to cry or scream or something like that, then you've got to get it out. And so, I have found that breath work, heavy breathing, in through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth, radically facilitates the movement of emotional dis-ease within you. I have found that the herb hawthorn berry, which is a heart herb, makes me want to breathe a lot, and it opens me up like a clam to release emotions. And it hurts so much to be honest with yourself about things, you know. It may not have been your fault, none of what happened to you. And you might say to yourself, well, is there anything that I could have done as a toddler in regards to something that happened to you or a young person? And the answer would have been probably no. And so then you might say, well, this person or this circumstance that happened to me, was it perfect? Were they perfect? No, they're just also humans. Humans, every one of them is imperfect. Every one of them has dis-ease to one degree or another. Everyone. And so, that's when you come to this point of forgiveness. You have to be able to forgive everyone out there that's wronged you, including yourself, because you know that they're just an animal. Human beings are mammals that make mistakes. There's not one person out there that hasn't made mistakes. There's not one perfect person out there that has perfect balance in all regards, physically, mentally, spiritually, or emotionally. And so, they say that forgiveness will set you free. Because if you haven't forgiven yourself or someone else for something that you feel bad about, then you'll just harbor it. You'll just keep it within you. Now here's the kicker. It's just like self-massage. You have to do the work regularly. You know, there are people out there that will say that if you do the tapping, the EFT, or some kind of work with some psychologist, psychiatrist, then you can get rid of your pain. You can get rid of it. I think that it's really good to talk to people, friends or counselors, whoever, about your problems. But I don't think that we can ever just completely say that we're healed emotionally. It's like exercise. You can't just like, okay, well, I'm going to work out for a week this year. And after I've worked out really hard, then that's it. I don't need to exercise for the rest of my life. Nope. That's not how it goes. If you haven't sat down and had a good cry for a while, and you feel that gulp or that pain in your chest, it's probably because that's exactly what you need. And it's just like a sore bicep or a sore glute or connection to the divine. It's a regular process that has to be done to maintain health. That's what I think about emotional healing. And you know the questions. I believe that you know exactly what you need to do within you to be able to heal emotionally. I'm just giving you a few clues, a few hints, a little prodding. You know what you need. And If you're a guy out there that just refuses to show his emotions, well, I would say that you need to get a ball. Get some balls and really cry. Grown men, real men, do cry so that they can be healthy and not congested full of emotional gunk, causing them all kinds of health disease and eventually death. It's got to be done. So, thanks for joining me. I hope you are well and getting weller.